Just out on my post-dinner walk. Thought it'd be a good time to share some inspiration, share some reminders, because we all need those reminders. We all get caught up in the illusion. We all get caught up in the stress of life, and then we're reminded in our constant thinking, getting caught in the cycles of thought from too much stimulation, we're reminded that there is no need to stress. There is no need to stress at all. Our cosmic beloved always gives us these reminders in the midst of our crippling stress and anxiety. We're, that's right. I don't got to do a thing. I don't got to try to do anything, right? I don't have to think, because thinking is the cause of all suffering. Stop thinking and end all of your problems. All we have to do is nothing. There's nothing to do but to do nothing. Stop thinking. Stand in the center of the circle and allow all things to take their course. That's all there is to do. If we're stressing, we're causing our own suffering because we're thinking. Because of why? Too much stimulation. It always comes back to stimulations. These damn screens we stare at all day. They're the source of great stimulation, and they can cause a lot of issues, right? So, they're a source of a great amount of stimulation, aggravation, and information. So to regain balance, what do we have to do? We have to step back from the stimulation. We have to step back. We have to take a step back and stand in the center of the circle and let it go. We have to keep letting go, keep surrendering. That's what presence and purification are, the two greatest devotions to God. Keep surrendering. You keep surrendering, right? You keep surrendering. How many times do I got to say it? Sorry, there's a lot of distractions going on this road. Usually it's much quieter. I go on my walk and it's just, I'm by myself. But today there's all kinds of stuff going on. All kinds of stuff in the simulation going on, right? So when we're having trouble balancing, when we're having trouble with purification, it always comes back to presence, right? It always comes back to presence. Presence and purification. We need greater amounts of presence to get greater amounts of purification. And purification helps us get greater amounts of presence. That's why they work together. So for me, for instance, if you're looking to achieve absolute health and fix your health issues, we need to come back to presence. It always comes back to presence. Because if we are stuck in the world of stimulation, of dopamine, right, of chasing these cycles, we're going to keep falling back on our bad habits, or what I like to call things we do to cope with being out of balance. We're going to keep the cycle going, which is going to stimulate the cycles of thought, which is going to stimulate our suffering and our stress. We think we're somebody doing something. We think we're in control, which is where our stress and our suffering comes from. All suffering assumes control, because we think we actually have to make decisions, like it's going to make a difference one way or the other. No matter what we do, it doesn't matter. Some people say, no, you have to make the right decision. We can only make one decision, right? We can only ever make one decision. I'm going to go down this road, this side road here. This would be a good road to go down. You can only ever make one decision, and it can't be a wrong decision. Because whatever happens was always going to happen, because it happens. So whether you do A or B, it doesn't matter, because that was always going to happen. People say you got to vote, right? Whether you vote, I'm not telling you to vote or not vote. That's not what this is about. I'm saying whether you vote or don't vote, it doesn't matter, because it was always going to happen. And you're not doing anything anyway. You're simply nature running off. We have to get to the point in our journey of presence where we're even observing our own nature running off. No matter how we act, we're not attached to it, we're just observing it. How I'm talking, how I'm acting and interacting with others. What do I do? If there's someone in the middle of the road and they're about to get hit by a car, whether you jump out to save them or not, in a sense, it doesn't matter because it's your nature running off. If you jump out to save them, that's your nature running off. You're not actually doing anything. If you don't jump out to save them, you are never going to jump out to save them. You see where I'm going with this? So we can't get hung up on the past. We always say, oh, well, if I had done this, if I had invested my money in this, I'd be rich. If I had gone to college for this, I'd be rich and I'd be better off. If I had moved here and did this with this person, I'd be... That was never, ever going to happen. We need to get that through. We need to understand this deeper perspective. And how do we gain a deeper understanding? Like, stand in the center of the circle and allow all things to take their course. Stop thinking, right? We have to give it all up. We have to empty our mind. We have to stop taking in all the stimulation. We live in a sea of stimulation, aggravation, and information. Right? It took me a minute to get going in this video. I haven't made a video in a while, guys. You know, I make a lot of videos in a row. It's usually is how I roll, and then I take a long break because, well, we need to bathe in the experience. We need to bathe in the experience that God, our Creator, is giving us. And remember, there is no wasted experience. There is no wasted suffering, right? Suffering is grace, right? Suffering is how we grow closer to God and how we learn, how we gain wisdom so we can help others. And there's always a lesson to be learned. God is always teaching us something through our experience or our grace. Some of us have been through monumental suffering, whether it be physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, gross amounts of like anxiety and depression and addictions and abuses. And these are all teaching us something. It was never going to be any different, right? We're just nature running off anyway. So all of our past issues with things, oh, I regret doing this. I shouldn't have done that. Oh, man, I feel guilty for doing that. With sin, right? People say, well, sin, well, all these things, what do? They all assume control. And control only exists in the thinking mind. There is no control. Well, how do you know? No, I'm in control. I'm deciding to go for this walk or not go for the. Are you? Or is that just your nature running off? That's your chemistry and conditioning and your conscious. And you were always going to go for a walk. If you didn't go for a walk, you were never going to go for a walk. Right? Well, I should have went to college. I shouldn't have not went to college. Whatever you did, you were always going to do, and you were never going to do anything different. It was never going to be any way different. So there's no way, because whatever happens was always going to happen because it happened. This deeper understanding, this perspective allows us to release the past and the future. And this is what does what? It brings us into presence. It says, well, if I'm not in control, I'm just nature running off and nothing to do but to stand in the center of the circle and allow all things to take their course and observe mine and everyone else's nature running off. This is higher self. This is the thoughtless state. This is presence. This is all there is to do. So every single second we get caught up in the illusion of chaos, fear, and confusion through the cycles of thought, the sea of stimulation, aggravation, information perpetuates, creates, and inflates the cycles of thought. We think we're somebody doing something. We think we're in control. We think we know. Well, this is all attachments to the illusion, right? We get attached to our ego selves or somebodyness. We identify with the actor. We think we're the decision maker. And these are our attachments that keep us separated from the whole. Because when we start thinking, we're causing separation from the whole. You want to come back to the whole? What does every spiritual text ever tell us to do? Give it all up. You got to give it all up to get it all. You got to surrender. You got to stop thinking. You got to stop pursuing information even. It gets to the point where if we want to gain deeper understandings on our spiritual journey of our evolution, right, of consciousness, you have to give it all up. You have to empty your mind. I've gotten massive, deeper understandings on my journey of presence and purification, just haphazardly tripping through it and through my own experience. I've been automatically guided. See, all we have to do is recognize through our consciousness that all there is to do nothing, is presence and purification. And through that, we will be, well, again, there's only divine guidance. We will be divinely guided and inspired into the right circumstances and places, into the right people. Like, you don't got to try to go out and meet people. I need to go out and make some friends. All you got to do is to do nothing. You give it up, and you will become your higher self by being present. God is patiently waiting for our undivided attention. You are what you put your attention on. You want to become one with God? Then put your attention on God, which is presence, which is surrender. Give it all up. You are what you put your attention on. That is so important. Surrender is the highest devotion to God, because that is saying, I trust you completely. I don't need to think. I don't need to try to do anything. If we're trying to do anything, that means we're still identifying with our somebodyness. We think we're somebody doing something. We identify with the actor and the doer. Our ego. That's our ego self. We're still attached. We can't have true common sense, which is in the middle of the circle, not thinking, unless we have no attachments or biases. Right? If you still have attachments or biases, if you still think you're somebody doing something, you still think you're in control, then we're going to get caught up in other attachments, right? We have to give it all up. So I keep, basically, my experience is like many of you, my other brothers and sisters, is a constant reminder, because the illusion is so powerful. All the stimulation, aggravation, and information is so powerful, and it's going to keep drawing us back in. And if you've seen some of my videos previously, you'll be like, dude, you say the same shit in all your videos. Well, hey, I still need to be reminded, right? I take a break from making these videos, and I bathe in the experience of life, as a soul and in a physical body. And I get caught back up in the same traps everybody else is. Why? This is not an accident. You're not failing. You're not failing because you have bad habits or things we do to cope with being out of balance. You need to go through these experiences repeatedly. And sometimes, as a conscious beings, we need to repeat experiences and perspectives to gain a deeper understanding. Right? Doing it a couple times may not be enough. Doing it a couple dozen times may not be enough. Doing it a couple hundred times, maybe doing 1,000 times, may be what it's required for us to reach the necessary point to get past, right? Or maybe we're being kept at certain perspectives and levels because that is where we are of the greatest use, right? These are all, rather profound and deep understandings that how we can view things. And we take the perspective of there is no control. All there is to do nothing. The only game in town is presence and purification. That's it. And to get on higher levels of purification, absolute health, to fix our health, we have to come into presence. God is sitting there waiting for us with absolute health and absolute peace, and to become one with him and our higher self, right? He's just like, dude, I am sitting here waiting for your undivided attention. You want to keep getting distracted by the illusion in the game? You know what I mean? Well, I'll be sitting here waiting. Your health ain't going to be perfect. You know what I mean? Your health is not going to go up. It's, you might be able to navigate that a bit. You know what I mean? But really, for some of us, and the lessons, some of these lessons are harder for others, depending where we are in our consciousness. That's another part of the whole trip, as depending on where we are in our level of consciousness, we may have to experience different things different than people who are maybe lower or higher in their journey of expanding their consciousness. It may be easier for some people to achieve higher levels of health, but they might have a different level of consciousness. It could be lower, it could be higher, right? There's different things, but there's a reason we're going through certain things. There's a reason I've had such a difficult time with purification and presence, because you need to re-experience things many times to gain a deeper understanding. And sometimes you have to get your head beaten against the wall for years, and then finally you're like, whoa, there it is. There it is. After all this time, just doing my best every day, which is all you can do to practice presence and purification. It's not about being perfect. It has nothing to do. It is not about that. We're just nature running off. Just observe, no matter what's happening, no matter what habits you're doing, no matter what you're eating, like, oh man, I shouldn't have ate that. No. Just observe, accept. Love and accept yourself exactly how you are. And everyone else. That's another reason to love and accept everyone else, right? Exactly how they are. Because they couldn't possibly do or act or eat or behave any other way other than how they are, because they're just chemistry and conditioning. Nature running off. So this brings this perspective of nature running off, takes a load off of our shoulders, and we just got to keep remembering it. That's why I make these videos, to remember, to remind myself and others to give it all up. Stop worrying, stop stressing. Like we've just moved down to Middle Tennessee. Well, I have some family down here, and we're looking for a house, and I've been, between selling a house and looking for a house, this little doggy dog here got super stressed out. My nervous system's all jacked up because I get caught in the game with too much stimulation, thinking I'm in control. I'm actually making any decisions to begin with. And what happens in the middle of all this super stress? God comes along and just hands me a freebie. You know what I mean? In the sense of, dude, you know you're not in control, right? Look, here's what I'm gonna show you that you think you're in control, but I'm gonna bring it in a different direction. Like, oh, that's right. That ain't nothing but divine timing. I don't gotta try to do anything. All I gotta do is give it up, and God's gonna give you the exact situations and things and etc. you need in your life, or people you need in your life at exactly the time you need it. Right? He's gonna give you a teacher when you need a teacher. He's gonna give you maybe a friend when you need a friend. All there is to do nothing, is practice presence and purification, and that brings us to our higher self, giving it all up, right? If we want a deeper understanding about things and to evolve our consciousness, we need to empty the mind. Stop taking in information. There's this endless chase of information, right? With the internet and with the phones and the computers and the TV and YouTube. Like, you can sit there on YouTube. Oh, I gotta find the perfect workout. I gotta find, oh, I'm missing something. I got something. But what we're missing is a peace of mind. Is the peace of the body, relaxing the body and mind enough where we don't get caught in the traps of stimulation. The food stimulation, the screen stimulation, all the different types of stimulation, right? That's part of the game, my friends. Thank you for joining me on this beautiful walk. I've been receiving, it's interesting, sometimes I won't have any push to make a video for a while, like happened recently, and then even though I haven't been on the highest states of purification, I've been eating, you know what I mean? It's all part of the game. I eat mostly fruit and raw fruits and vegetables, but then I eat some cooked food, you know what I mean? And there's no judgment to me or anybody else eating however they eat, because we can only ever eat based off our chemistry and conditioning, right? It's nature running off, baby. You just observe and accept, and allow the cosmic beloved to guide us. Allow the divine to flow through us. If we want to be our highest self, all we have to do is to give it all up. Stop thinking and end all of your problems. Easier said than done. I have many videos on all these subjects and going in depth in all different angles from all different perspectives. But again, how do you stop thinking? Well, that's the tricky part, my friends. When we're born into the sea, it's stimulation, aggravation, and information, and the illusion of chaos, fear, and confusion. Good luck. That's part of the trip, man. Get out in nature. Go for walks. Separate yourself from the sources of stimulation more and more. It's hard because the stimulation is so stimulating, and it's easy. Put your phone down. Take some means to stop using your phone and stop watching TV. I don't watch TV or movies. I haven't for quite a while. I'll catch some glimpses when other people are watching it in the family or in the house, right? But I don't sit down and go, all right, let's watch a show or a movie. Never, because I know what it is. It's just stimulation. I use my phone plenty. You know what I mean? I do better, putting the phone down. But again, like I'm in a situation where I'm looking for a house, so I gotta use my phone to look for a house, and that trips me up because then I don't have to. I could just give it all up, right? And it would still be the exact same result, whether you use your phone to do something or you get rid of your phone and you live in a cave. It doesn't matter. What do you mean it doesn't matter? You were gonna do it anyway. No matter what you do, you were gonna do anyway. Because whatever happens was always going to happen because it happens. It was never going to be any different. And you're just nature running off anyway. You're not even doing anything. We all think we're in control. We get tripped up. We get stressed. Or here comes our suffering. Right? Oh, I shouldn't have done that in the past. Oh, well, this is a sin to do this. It's a sin if you were in control. I could see how that worked, but there is no control. God's in control. He's the only one in control is God. Right? We're just getting caught on these attachment games, these high level, consciousness games. And all we got to do is give it up. God is patiently awaiting for our undivided attention, which will bring us deeper understanding, peace. It'll allow us to automatically manifest or attract what is needed for us, and it will allow us to reach high levels of purification, which is another one of the highest devotions to God. Two of the highest devotions to God: presence and purification, for good reason. Right? Giving it all up to God, that's presence, that's surrender, that's standing in the center of the circle. And purification, these vessels are the greatest gifts of God, one of the greatest gifts of God. So we must treat them to the highest degree, as Jesus says in the Essene Gospel of Peace, which I'm working on getting my hands on another copy of that. I listened to the audiobook a while ago. That's really good if you haven't listened to it or read it. But I'm going to try to reread that soon, and I will bring some updates for anybody who hasn't read that. And again, even reading books, I go through phases: reading, not reading. I don't force it. If our cosmic beloved throws a book at me, which he has many times, like, you're reading this next, okay, I'll read it and I'll zip right through it. But trying to force myself to read a book I really don't want to read, trying to do something, doesn't work. I just put it down. It's better to sit in silence, to meditate, you know what I mean, to connect, to ground, and try to detach yourself from all the stimulation. Thank you for joining me on this fine evening, my beautiful friends. May our cosmic beloved bless you all with peace, patience, presence, guidance, love, understanding, health, and abundance. I am God's eternal love pouring forth. Namaste.